think AI is going to change the way we work, the way we find jobs, the way we manage people.
The world likes to make us all think the sky's falling, everything's on fire, we don't know what to do.
Leadership is really complex right now because of the multi-generations at work and the different work styles.
How to lead with purpose and not position, title. How do you empower people more and really emphasize that in your day-to-day job? It's difficult for people sometimes.
Welcome to the Unconventional Leadership Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential as a leader. Hey, can I ask you a favor? Can you please hit subscribe or follow on any platform that you're listening or watching this episode? Our goal is to connect with you, to bring additional value to you, to bring additional topics to you, and we can do that more effectively if you hit subscribe or follow. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this week's episode of the Unconventional Leadership Podcast. Today, I have the distinct pleasure to be in the studio with Nancy Spivey, VP of Talent Strategies at the Northern Kentucky Chamber, and David Noe, HR Manager at Payroll Partners, podcast host of Speakeasy HR, and a small business owner. David, thank you. Nancy, thank you for both joining me in the studio.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's exciting.
So,
this is great.
We're coming right off the day after a recent Disrupt HR Cincinnati 9.0 meeting. So we had a lot of energy flowing last night. We're also excited that we're going to be hosting the Disrupt HR Northern Kentucky July 8th.
No, can't wait.
So we're going to be talking all about some disruptive thinking, things that we're hearing from those that we serve, because we're all in the discussions with businesses around people and leadership and culture and transformation. So I'm excited to just sit amongst the two of you today to cover all these great things.
Sure.
Are either one of you tired from yesterday?
Yes.
Yes.
Very tired.
I feel like I have more energy now, but I think it's going to go away soon.
Yeah. Right. It'll crash.
It will.
It'll crash. There's something about being in the room surrounded by people who all care about a brighter future and about a different impact that we could have and a way we could approach things differently. Mm-hmm. I took away yesterday, there was one of the things with Disrupt is always finding people who aren't necessarily HR people, talking about people leadership topics. And I love the topic around from the product manager yesterday that was shared. It's like that kind of angle of like a different approach, involve us sooner, help us understand human behavior, get the rest of the functions involved earlier is kind of what I took away from it personally. Mm-hmm. Of like, yeah, we're all in the people business. We're all in the customer business. We're all trying to serve in our day-to-day lives. So involve all of us. Why not just one or two and get everybody involved? Any major takeaways the two of you had?
I think for me, the whole focus of people being the product and the fact that, whether you're trying to help with benefit issues, with morale, culture, if you keep at the core that it's about the people and really keep your eye on the ball, where that's concerned. I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Yeah, it's such a different kind of event, really. You have presenters speaking for 5 minutes. You have slides changing every 15 seconds. And so having that kind of environment where people are clapping and cheering you on and motivating you before you even get on stage. I could feel it as a speaker. So going number 4 in the lineup, I was kind of like glad that I had a few people in front of me to see and hear, but then also being the first time at an event like that, it really helped me just get more excited, but not so nervous on stage. So it was fascinating.
I love it. I started whistling and started hollering, like yelling for the speaker. And one of my colleagues looked back like, who's that? I'm like, man, this gets me fired up. I remember 1.0 at Rheingeist years ago that was hosted and all the amazing impact that the chief excitement officer, Jennifer McClure's had, and the leaders like Steve Brown and James Biro that have been there since the very beginning. It's really awesome. And it's also, nothing's easy to grow globally. And they've built this global brand, 100 plus country. I mean, it's just insane. So I'm excited that we're going to bring another one to the region in July.
Yeah, it's right over the river. And I was wondering, I brought the idea to Nancy and I said, hey, have you heard of Disrupt HR?
Yeah.
What if we had one in Northern Kentucky? I know it started in Cincinnati, but the more the merrier. And that's what Jennifer's message was to us. And so thankfully the Chamber of Commerce and Nancy and all of her team are a part of the event, and you and I. So it's going to be another opportunity for people to come and see that kind of event over the summer that couldn't obviously attend last night, or they'll come again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I'll share, we do over 100 events a year at the Northern Kentucky Chamber, but we don't do an event like Disrupt HR. Yeah. And so my team is excited. They're like, wow, we can't wait to see the energy in the room. We do after hours and we do, thoughtful programs and wonderful programs, great speakers, but this is going to be a new level. Yes. So really looking forward to it.
Level.
Yeah.
So share with me the amazing events that you all run and the conversations you have with customers and new members and existing members and companies looking at the area and companies in the area looking to expand. What are you hearing? What's the current struggle? What's the current difficulty that business leaders are expressing and that you all are trying to help your customers solve based on the topics you're bringing forward?
I think it helps to know that our customers, we have 1,750 member organizations. So those are companies that are startup companies without a presence, even a storefront, to global companies, right? So we hear a lot of different
I'm sure.
challenges, but the core central talent is still the number one concern is, where am I going to find them? How am I going to grow them? How am I going to retain them, develop them? Yeah. And how do I make sure that I take care of that piece of my business to grow my business?
Yeah. Has that changed in the last 10 years or 15 years? Is it always talent first?
I think it's talent. Certainly we've heard a lot of global impact right now, people who are doing importing and exporting and issues that affect that. It's also the changing dynamic with technology. But at the core, it all takes people to do your business. So, I think, and I've been doing this work for a long time, talent is a big challenge. And if you can't solve that, you're really in trouble.
Right. David, what do you see? What do you think if we take talent and break it apart with the speakers you have on the Speakeasy podcast and the topics you're hearing from your clients? What micro categories spin out of the word talent for you?
I think what takes center stage is the employee experience. And while people are trying to adopt AI and make technology better in their organization, it's still about the experience of the employee. And so my focus with Payroll Partners is to hire the right people to come into our culture and help that experience, just like we do for the client. So you still have a gap of talent and skills and management skills that a lot of businesses struggle with. A lot of managers feel burned out. A lot of HR professionals feel burned out. So how are you going to get over that hurdle of burnout? And it goes back to the employee experience. You're never going to get 100% out of your team. And everything that people deal with out of their daily work life, people they're messy. And mental health is a thing, and it's not going anywhere. So I think every business has their specific challenges in their industry, in their infrastructure. And we live in a thriving region from all kinds of industries, companies coming here, really developing themselves as an organization, or startups. So as you look into the future and like what businesses want to do to be successful, how can they integrate humans with technology to really be successful in the future? So it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. Your high potential leaders and executives need more. They need someone who will come alongside of them to help them unlock what is holding them back and reach their fullest potential. Our executive coaching matches your leaders with the right coach through our proprietary coach matching process. We focus on real growth with clear goals, frequent check-ins, and measurable results that you see and experience. Whether it's a 6-month engagement or ongoing support, We help your leaders become the executives that they desire and that your organization needs. Visit talentmagnet.com to start the conversation today. So regarding the technology, also today, kind of big phrase of AI, I was in a meeting this week and I heard a leader share this, and I thought it was really profound. His company is a big software developer, and they're working with AI as a tool and embedding AI into their clients' tools that they're building for consumers and businesses to use. And the question that kind of came out of all of this, there were 11 of us in the room. And the question was, at some point, does it feel like technology is starting to interact with technology? So people are going to almost be forced back to how to interact with people. Like, it's because technology, bots are answering bots' questions and bots are responding to bots' data, and analytics is feeding this analytics in this tool, and it's all tech. And then is it like, are we going to get back to peopling, like interacting with people again? How does that strike the two of you? Nancy, I'll start with you.
I'll just say, what I'm seeing, especially in the last quarter, in the work that we do, is people are getting back to peopling more. And whether that's because of AI or not, we're seeing attendance skyrocket in a lot of our areas. We are seeing a lot more engagement and interaction from our volunteers. I don't, I can't pinpoint that AI is the reason for that, but I can't say that it's not.
Yeah.
And, I've been following a lot of different podcasts and other, periodicals and things around the AI technology space. And there was something that I heard last week around the fact that AI, if you use it as like your interns and you say, hey, I can impact my work exponentially by adding on all these extra AI bots, whatever, it can be a real resource that makes you look like a hero. So to not embrace it would be a detriment to your business.
Right.
So
right.
It makes more sense to me to think of it as sort of people than as a product.
Yeah, as an enabler. Yeah. What about yourself?
From top to bottom, I think AI is going to change the way we work, the way we find jobs, the way we manage people. I have seen a lot of different technology platforms, and it's around getting the manager in front of their employees for more human connection, but also have the right conversations and ask the right questions to help them determine what's not creating a successful work environment for them. If they're the next one leaving because 70 to 75% of people are disengaged in their jobs, how can you better them with technology? I've seen a lot of statistics around, if you use AI the right way in your job, you could get back 5 to 10 hours of your week. So what are you going to do with those hours? Maybe volunteer, do something with your family, right? Like have a better work-life balance so there's not so much burnout. So while everyone is looking at AI potentially in a different lens, I think everyone has to really embrace it because it's not going to go anywhere, and it's developing at a rate that no other technology is developing itself. And if you look at history and how the internet, everyone thought when the internet came out, it was going to take away a bunch of jobs. What happened? When AI came out, people are saying, oh, it's going to take away all these jobs.
Right.
It might take away some jobs.
Yeah.
It might make ways that we do work better, more efficient, and help everybody just not be lazy, but take their job and figure out where can they be more efficient, be more accurate, especially in our world of payroll and HR technology, how to predict the right hiring protocol. And I know there's some companies out there that don't use AI the right way to hire, and they have been feeling it. So it's really changing how everybody's going to work, and it's going to be fascinating how the next 5 to 10 years look for the workforce.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the comment of like, it will change things, but doesn't mean humanity goes away, right? There will be organizations who use technology. I have a friend of mine who was sharing his startup was built around partnering with Amazon AWS, so Amazon Web Services. And he was like, they make you feel like everything in the world is automated. But you know how many people are behind that automation? It's like thousands of people, right? And you as a layperson, the basic, like if you were to go set up a website and use AWS, no, you're not going to get access to a human. But the people who are spending millions and tens of millions of dollars have a whole fleet of customer service behind them to help them with their infrastructure. So like the world likes to make us all think the sky's falling, everything's on fire, we don't know what to do, to create chaos and drive and, energy, whether it's negative or positive. But at the end of the day, there's still going to be people involved. So we need to learn how to use the tools. The tools are all around you right now. As you're listening to this, you're probably looking, if you're listening to it in the car, there's probably AI somewhere in your technology in your car, on your phone. If you're running, there may be something that you're using to track data that has some AI tied to it, that when you get done with your run, you click it and it tells you how you feel and how you should feel. And if you don't feel this way, here are the things you could do. And this must mean you're dehydrated and you need to, like it's right. AI's everywhere. Every tool we're using, every technology platform you're using has tools. You need to learn, we need to learn how to use it, right? And use it more effectively to be more effective. I do hope that even the intern talk, you and I have serve up at Miami University inside of the HR program at times. And I know there's been talk about decrease of intern opportunities. I'm trying to play my little engine that could, like, well, we've got 3 interns and they're really stinking good. And so I want them to know how to use AI to be more effective versus, man, are they really having this much difficulty? They are. There's difficulty finding roles for interns in any category of position. But like, what if they all come out of a school more mobilized than anyone, because they're digital technology AI natives? And that's what we're finding, where they're asking questions around, why aren't we using this? Right. I don't know. We've never even clicked the button. I never even contacted IT to turn it on for everybody.
Right.
And they're like, oh my gosh, we need to make this enterprise wide. So I love that talk track. Having those conversations are really important.
I think looking at something for myself, starting a podcast, I really didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn, but now I use a lot of different tools to make it very efficient, to make a podcast, to make the artwork, to make the Canva, items that we need to promote the episodes, and then to create the questions. Anytime I have a guest, I don't expect them to send me the questions. It doesn't take me very long. As soon as I know the topic is going to be, I throw it into AI and I say, hey, what are 10 good questions for this topic? And then it's saving me a ton of time just on creating a podcast. Yeah. So I don't need an intern. I don't need a second, member of our team and their time and day to be creating a podcast.
Sure.
But if you take that time and invest in an intern, you're helping all of us grow our future workforce. And so to me, it's what you all have talked about earlier, is this is becoming a time-saving feature that then enables us to really invest in our people, future people, current people. It's all about driving that forward.
Yeah, we have a team of interns that we're about to turn on mid-March that are specifically going to be looking at this podcast as their capstone. Oh. And I sure hope they're using all of the technology to their advantage to say, how do we take what we're doing and where do we see opportunities? And to your point, like, I believe your podcast in particular is so human, and like you're using tech to build it, but man, is it human. And the shorts you're putting out and the videos you're creating and the images, you're still making human centric to draw people in, to have topics that are really human. And so like, let's leverage all of this to make it even more human. Let's disrupt the way we all think, to like remove the fear of the tech and make it, mobilize interns to use it even more effectively than any of us have time to even think about. Right. And I see it happening. Yeah. I'm excited about the future in all of that.
I am too.
How do you think leadership as a leader? I'm in the seat. I have responsibility of org chart, of individuals. I have accountability to the individuals I employ to set direction. What topics there do you think leaders need to lean in more on for themselves to be more effective at leading and directing and building accountability?
Great question. I think leaders have a hard time giving control to other people and trusting them to do that part of the work. So I have, in my experience, found that once leaders have the right people in place in the organization, it's a lot easier to hand off things and not be controlling everything going on. So small businesses and startups that grow, the owner can't do everything. They can't be involved in everything. So I think having an authentic leadership style where you give people the environment to fail, but also learn and grow as an individual. And two, management. Management is such a difficult position, middle management within a company. I'm not talking the leadership team, not talking, the hourly employee, it's the middle management. And those are the most important people in the organization because they're trying to engage the staff that they manage. They're trying to do what the leadership team wants for the company to succeed. So they're navigating all this stuff. So you got to give them the right tools, resources, really the motivation to be a manager. Not everyone's cut out to be a manager. So everyone says, I want to be a leader. Okay, what does that look like? How do you want to help people be inspired in their job, in their career to keep them around? Like everybody's wanting to retain their staff. It's hard to retain everybody. So a lot of people leave a company, not because of the company, because of the manager. And I've seen that for decades.
Yeah.
I think, though, for me, leadership is really complex right now because of the multi-generations at work and the different work styles, the different expectations of what work should look like. And so having the ability as a leader to kind of customize your experience for the individual and to provide true guidance and still keep, those boundaries. I think, I've heard from others that some of the biggest challenges right now is you want to be there for everyone, but it's hard to have a book or a manual that suits every person in your organization. And so being able to recognize that and also adjust, and to what David said, the empowerment of other people. And also I heard last night at Disrupt that an interesting, one of the speakers mentioned about having leaders be able to have mentors. And I really appreciated that comment was understanding that, leaders need help too. And to be able to be humble enough to say, I really need a support team around me too.
Yeah. We talk a lot about self-awareness on the podcast, and there's like I believe there's at least 2 levels. There might be 17, but let's say there's 2 levels. The first level is knowledge of your natural tendencies, right? So assessment tools say, here's who you are. Here's who you're innately designed to be based on these things. Countless times you see some people who do nothing about that. And they say, well, this is who I am. So you're going to like it. Or you're not, and you can be gone. And I don't really. Then there's others who are like, well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to learn from that. And I'm going to explore, in my case, like I was with a COO this morning, and we were talking about like the difference. He's an amazing integrator, and that's been his gift for the last 25 years. And we were talking integrator, visionary, and it's like I'm learning how to be a more effective visionary compared to what I was even 2-3 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago to today. And you have to go through bumps and bruises to get there. Some people don't care about that. They don't care about the journey of continually learning and thinking like, okay, how would you approach this if you were in my seat as an integrator helping me, and from just what I put on the table versus just, force everything to happen because you're in charge, right? So there's a level of, and I've heard people say, well, I don't control how you feel. On one hand, that is true. on the other hand, how you deliver your message matters,
Yeah, it does.
right? And that's what
It
you're
sure
both
does.
referencing.
Of
Like,
course.
as leaders, let's strengthen up. Let's accept more accountability of how we are to empower others to be. That, David, you mentioned earlier that like the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is engagement scores haven't really changed very much in the last 25, 20, 15, even during COVID, they really didn't waver that much.
No.
Coming out of that, they haven't, I don't think they improved. They've probably gone down a little bit more because people are trying to figure out what is work? How are we structured? And I know that's how they can be structured, but how they're structured isn't how I can be structured. Like, it's really complicated. Leadership is really complicated.
It is.
I think more than ever.
Yeah.
And AI will not fix people problems.
Yeah.
One of the recent podcast episodes I had was about how AI will not fix people problems.
Mhm.
And people need to show empathy in leadership, and no matter what job they're in, you got to show empathy. And when people are like, oh, my staff, they should leave their problems at home and come to work and work 8 hours and not have emotion, and they just do their job. And I'm like, that's not going to be the case. And if that's the way you think, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people leave around you because that's not how we need to support each other.
Yeah.
And I've heard where people have mental health discussions in the workplace where it's like you're helping each other in an environment where you feel comfortable talking about things that you're dealing with and your family's dealing with. You spend more time at work than at home, and your leadership, your manager has just enough inspiration and empowerment to you as an individual than your spouse. So you are influenced by your spouse, your family, but your manager plays such a huge role in that.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is going to be a problem and a challenge for everybody, no matter what AI is going to do. I haven't seen a business that runs fully on AI with no employees, no humans. If they're out there, I'm really curious how they're doing.
Yeah. Right. Right. And how much fun they could be having.
Yeah.
Right? There's no fun in that. There's no fun in that. Come on.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Nancy, in the panels and the dialogues, and then I would also say, and some of the behind the scenes stuff, like there's organizations that share publicly what they're going through, and there's others who call you and say, hey, I really need some help on something. We've not faced this before, or we're facing this and we're trying to figure out how to change the outcome because we just had a group or an organization chart or a business unit just lose a bunch of people because of a move we made. Are there any topics that you feel like is a trend when you get those calls today?
I would say, a lot around the fact that we're not finding exactly the right person to replace a person. And discussions around, we've tried to tweak our job description and we're still not getting the right candidates to apply for our roles. I'm hearing that on a pretty regular basis. I'm also hearing some new things around safety in the workplace that I feel like maybe a couple of years ago we heard, but we haven't heard recently.
Okay.
And that's a little concerning that we're getting those calls. Like I just feel like it's a topic we need to pay attention to and be mindful of. And even some of the smaller employers that are saying, we're going to try to bring in a safety professional because we feel like that's a need in the community. And it kind of falls around the mental health issues and the challenges that we all face in the world that we're in. I would say those two are probably if there are trends, those are the two I'm hearing.
I wonder
right now.
if safety professional, like it feels like to me, we used to do a lot of environmental health and safety search work, and then it became less of a trend. I wonder if it's coming back. Right? Like the world swings pendulums really quick left to right versus, I always say versus center of the fairway is probably the right place to get it. You can get the ball to the green from far left. I've done it before, or far right and opposite fairways, but it's a whole lot easier if you stay center of the fairway. And I wonder if that's a great example of where, we got rid of our safety director.
Right.
We only have a safety supervisor who can't handle 3 locations and 790 employees. Maybe we need a director to set strategy and then 3 professionals and 1 in each site. Like, I wonder if that's also coming back.
And then I'm also, thinking about the structure of what safety is today. Safety is also cyber safety.
Oh, yeah.
It's also, your warehouse chemical safety, and it's also armed and unarmed guard safety. I mean, it's really expanded and diversified. And I think because of that, companies are looking at the structure of their teams and maybe readjusting the way that they do that line of business, and whether that falls into HR or whether that falls into other types of operations. And I'm seeing a little, we're trying to figure all that out.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that's part of the drive of also mental health and human behavior shifts and radical decisions.
Right.
Yeah. Being the leader of HR can feel isolating. You're navigating complex people challenges every day. But who is supporting you? Our CHRO Mastermind brings together top HR leaders for authentic conversations and extraordinary experiences. You'll gain access to a rich network of people and resources, curated tools, content, and conversations with peers, and a community that truly understands the weight you carry, and a support network to help you learn and grow as a leader. Applications are now open for our next cohort. Visit talentmagnet.com to learn more. Are you, David, with what you all are seeing with payroll partners and the organizations that are saying, like, we need a more effective system, right? So if it's out there, I'm sure you get companies going, here's the way we've been doing payroll for 27 years.
Yeah.
We've been told there might be a better way.
Yeah.
What does that kind of conversation look like? And what type of impact are you having when you're implementing a great new system with payroll partners?
Yeah, it's very similar to what Nancy was talking about with the employee experience and making it personalized. I think for us at Payroll Partners, it's how can we personalize the technology for the business, whether they have 10 employees, 1,000 employees, and how can they do things better, more efficiently. So if they have 7 spreadsheets to track things and how they hire, how they track vacation, how they do benefits and 401k enrollments, all of those things take time, effort, knowledge, experience. And if someone doesn't have that inside of their business from a subject matter expert, it takes a lot to make sure that that's accurate. And then you have taxes and complexities. We live in an area where it's very complex.
Yeah.
Ohio and Kentucky are some of the most if not the most complex states for taxes, local taxes.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yes.
Like, it is really complex.
And we don't expect companies to be tax experts, right?
Okay.
So we have those situations. So really we find out and we try to meet companies where they are. And if they've been doing something for 10 years and they've been getting by and they don't want to change, we try to open up their eyes a little bit more to say, hey, this is what you can be, looking at within our software. And it really helps them understand we can consolidate systems. We can make it easier for the employee to go in and change a direct deposit. Or we can have open enrollment go a whole lot easier. If anybody out there listening has dealt with open enrollment for a business, whether it's 20 employees or 200, everyone has to go through the process and pick benefits, new hires. So every business is a little different. We see the trends. And if you are spending a lot of time doing those manual things, we still have people that fax in their time cards. People have fax machines still.
Wow.
And they do things old school, and we're okay with that. We have people that just do
You
live
just got
checks.
an amen from my mom, by the way,
Right?
who thinks I'm crazy for not having a fax machine. So
We see it
I
all.
don't think we have one anymore.
We
my mom
see it
still
all.
has one. She pays for it herself and expenses it through her home office.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You do see it all.
I hear that sound in my mind as you guys are saying that. That
Yeah.
sound that it always made.
But that's
Great.
the
Never
point.
mind.
27 years processes are still in place in so many companies, right?
Oh, yeah. Small
So, like,
businesses.
and I do believe the last 7 years people have asked themselves, but then you quickly fall back into the old habit. So it's like, we need to question policies, procedures, systems, technology. The other thing, I'm sure you deal with this, and you probably deal with this as well, because every tool thinks they have to be everything to everyone. Every tool you have now has all of the features. So like this tool locks into QuickBooks, and this locks into this time management system, and this tool locks into your CRM and QuickBooks, and this tool. And it's like, man, is our tech stack, like, do we really need to be spending this kind of money on our tech stack?
Yeah.
I have a really funny story that I think will be, it's interesting to me. I don't know how I'm dealing with it, but recently I got downgraded on Delta, right? First world problem.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm like, it's been so many years since I've had this particular status that I didn't have to pay for anything. I just show up. Now I'm paying for it, right?
Yeah.
But I called Delta and I said, so we had a year and a half ago, we hired an amazing chief marketing officer who's a technologist and marketing executive.
Okay.
And he is asking all the questions. And we've been working on this project called One Source of the Truth. And what that basically means is we've been looking at the tech stack from a monthly and annual subscription basis. And like, why do we have this many users on this system? And why are we even using this system if this system does the same thing that system did? When we bought all of those systems, they didn't do all of these things, but tech just keeps adding features and features and features. So anyway, the lady from Delta was like, well, Mr. Sipple, thank you for being a member of Amex for 18 years or 19 years. You're such a loyal customer. And I was like, I just have a question. I've not been downgraded in a while. And I thought I would ask because I'm booking the year's flights. So we were booking out flights all the way through October. And, we fly our employees around and we use points on some and not on others. And she was like, well, it's really interesting. You've had this particular spend. Your spend last year decreased by $73,000 on your Amex card. And I was like, I guess that project really worked.
Yeah, right. You're efficient.
Wow.
Like, our
an
team
efficiency thing.
decreased.
Right.
And so am I willing to pay the $5,000 extra for the year for the savings of 73,000? Absolutely. And it's okay. But I think the whole point of that is, one, I think it's hilarious that was the response. And I'm like, well, I think I mean to say thank you. And I really appreciate you. And she's like, thank you, sir, for your business. And I'm like, wow, okay. We're taking a downgraded status because we're saving lots of money. The whole project came about because it just gets so confusing with technology.
Yeah.
Every tech offers everything and they can connect, but who really takes, I don't have an internal technologist to make sure everything's optimized, to your point. We don't have all of those resources. How are you two seeing that show up in your business with the amount of technology and all of the enhancements? Like, is it too much? How are you all navigating it? What does that feel like in your org charts and operations?
I think it's a big piece of what a lot of companies, including our chamber, is dealing with. We use, everyone uses email, right?
Mm-hmm.
We also have Teams. We also have WebEx for our phone systems, but WebEx now does what Teams does, right? To your point.
Yes.
And so you're trying to navigate through, like, when did I send that email, or was it a text, or was it a whatever, and something, we talked about earlier today.
I asked it before we got started. I said, now which mail, I have 3 mailboxes. Which mailbox did I send that from? And David said, oh, you sent it from this one. It was the opposite one of what I was looking at.
Right.
See?
So, and it's all in Microsoft. They're all mailboxes in Microsoft, but like, it's just, our worlds are so complex. Technology is making things even more difficult to a degree. Yeah. So we kind of need AI to make it less difficult.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And if if there is an organizational tool that I can just plug in and say, help me find that email that Mike sent last week, and it would find it, or that communication, I should say, because it's not necessarily an email.
Right.
And I'm sure that probably exists. And so, maybe a year from now, we'll have this conversation again.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, wow, you remember when we spent 30 minutes looking for a communication? Now all we have to do is ask AI. Come up and find it for us. So yeah.
We're in an industry where it impacts the employee's paycheck. And when you pay people right, they're happy, or happier than when their paycheck's wrong. And when they mess up their paycheck, the employees lose trust in the company.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
All the time. Been there, my previous job, every Friday we had payroll issues. So my journey to Payroll Partners was not because I was looking for a job at a payroll company. So now I get to talk to companies and our internal staff about we play such an important role in your success as a company when you pay your employees accurately on time, and it makes it so much more efficient. Now, when you make a mistake and you call us and say, hey, Barb, I messed up. I need to pay this person today. Can you do that? Absolutely. We help them look like the hero when their employees don't miss a paycheck, get bills that aren't paid right. So there's certain technology that we know is going to help us be more efficient. But when our businesses that we have as clients, they call us all the time. They call us with problems, and we need them to be fixed immediately. Tax issues. We get tax notices. Hey, what's this tax notice? I don't know what this means from the city of whatever. We have to investigate and figure out what happened. Maybe it's what happened in their previous situation. We hear that all the time. Oh, this payroll company, they didn't pay our payroll tax right, or our city tax.
Yeah, all of us have experienced.
And they just assume, and then they have a notice and a penalty. So the amount of companies that don't think of payroll compliance as a necessity, like security of their software in technology, like it can all come tumbling down, and you are just assuming that company is doing the right thing. And so we are very people focused, people oriented, making sure our clients know that they can call us, email us, or down the street. And it really makes that employee experience for their employees better, and it makes the client experience better. So again, technology is not just going to fix everything. You're still going to have human error.
As you grow and scale, all of us have dealt with, I just dealt with it recently, with an outsourced, you could tell they outsource customer service. And as you grow and scale, I understand why some companies outsource. Companies used to outsource to companies who were outsourced companies for call centers where there are actually humans in the call center, right? I mean, there were literally 1,000 seats, and we serve 16 companies. Recently, I was engaging with a customer service rep, and I said, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but are you an AI bot? Because I was getting no emotion at all. And I honestly, I thought operator, I just want to speak to an operator. And the person said, I'm not an AI bot, but I will level you up to customer service. And I asked the next layer of customer service, was I just talking to technology because it felt like it? And I felt really horrible because she said, no, that wasn't technology, but she said, I get that a lot. They're told to read a certain script. And like, it felt so robotic that I was like, there's no way it's a human. I still have a feeling it wasn't, personally, in my mind.
They sound very real.
Because it real and no emotion, monolithic. But as you grow your company and as you experience companies growing, everybody hits that point of like, I want to be able to call Barb and say, Barb, help me fix my problem, versus can somebody just respond to my email? So how do we navigate that? Because companies have to grow. You always look at cost justification. You know, we've known companies like a Convergys years ago that was a big call center company. They had tens of thousands of employees. I don't think they exist. So how do you manage the human inside of being optimal and effective and profitable for a business? Any thoughts on those?
I mean, I will say, I think there's a role for both. I think there's times when efficiency really matters. And if it's calling to remind people that you're registered for an event next week, or I'm calling to tell you that you've got a doctor's appointment, or, that certain functions certainly don't require human interaction. But our team is going through an exercise based on the book Unreasonable Hospitality. And you start to realize that if you do things just a little bit better than everybody else, or just a little unexpected, and you really go out of your way to make sure the customer experience is personal, how much better the world is, and how much more likely you are to retain and have fans, in your circle.
Yeah,
so,
that's a great point. So double clicking on that. So the Unreasonable Hospitality, is all about upshifting the way you provide customer service or provide experience to those you're serving?
It's saying that, I know that David likes certain things, and I'm going to make sure he's going to call me and ask me for something, and I'm going to give him that, plus what I know he really likes.
Mm-hmm.
It's going one step above and getting to know who the people are on the other end and having it be more human.
So the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, back in 2021, it pains you to say this to the outside world, but it was the only organization who didn't just check on us once, but 2, 3, 4 times to see how I was doing as the business owner. Yeah. Anything we can be doing to provide, anything else you need. We have these upcoming events. There were these and it was actually the people I know from the chamber calling.
Yeah.
I think you guys were like the only one.
Yeah.
Of all the membership dues we all pay.
We still do that.
The Northern Kentucky Chamber leveled up, right? I mean, that's
right.
that's why we're so involved with the Northern Kentucky Chamber, because you guys are involved in us.
And it's a personal experience. And I think, I wasn't there when all of that went down, but I experienced it because the company I was with at the time was a member.
Yeah.
And so it was like, hey, are we going to keep doing events? And what does that look like? And, I think Northern Kentucky's resilience during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And, our sweet spot is collaboration and being able to take care of one another. Mm-hmm. So
you could feel
I think as a whole, just understanding that that's a good role for the chamber.
Yeah.
To play.
And that value showed up in the way you responded to your customers and your members.
Right.
So very thankful for that. Yeah.
I think for us, our motto is we're elevating the experience of an HR and payroll technology for businesses. And so how that looks is different for everybody. Like I said, it's like building a house. You're going to hire somebody to design it. You're going to hire somebody to build it, and then you're going to live in it. For us, we do all of that and then some by giving people the ongoing support and training. Mm-hmm. We don't just say, all right, you're implemented and we're done with you. Like mm-hmm. you have a team to call. Mm-hmm. And whether it's once a week, once a month, we value that to our clients, and we're investing in building more space in our office in Fort Wright. And it's amazing to see that we're doing that with humans. We're not taking it and doing it in a different way other than developing people, getting people certified with HR and payroll technology that is so critical. Like if you hire somebody with a certification, that they understand what it is when they're doing their job. It's mm-hmm. not like you're just hiring somebody that may not know what they're doing. So we value that, and we're investing in that for our people. So it's exciting. And, I think all of our clients really value that. That's why we have such a high retention of our clients. They trust us.
Yeah.
And then they refer us to their friends, and it's
awesome.
Great.
Yeah, sure do. So more questions around Disrupt HR.
Yeah.
So topically, if I'm watching this and I'm not an HR, or I've never been to a Disrupt HR event, because we invite people who are non-HR to show up to Disrupt HR. That's part of the movement, is mm-hmm. to get everyone involved in the people practices and culture and impact. But what topics do we hope to see applications from, choose speakers about? Like, what is it about topics that really stand out to you to be a disruptive HR topic?
So mine was the 7 F words that impact everything. I think a lot of people were curious to see what that was.
Sure.
Yesterday.
You had me at F words.
And so when you go to a disrupt event, you might hear about ideas that people may not have another platform to explain in
mm-hmm.
a 5-minute presentation mm-hmm. when your slides are changing every 15 seconds. So some of the other topics are around culture and how HR is human and how we have to keep it that way, and leadership and the engagement of your workforce. So really the topics can be anything about the workforce, the culture, environment of a business, and what is really going to help disrupt it in a way that's going to make meaningful impact to your team. So mm-hmm. the topics last night were great. Some were on employee benefits. Some were on the engagement of the organization and how it just elevated after just a couple different tweaks with the way that they got survey results and were able to engage their staff more. So I hope that everybody were leaving that event inspired in some way, motivated in some way from any of us speaking. So I think the topics that we have for July as we go through the submissions are going to be very diverse, very entertaining and exciting to hear from those professionals in the workplace that may not have really gone to a disrupt event before.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome.
Well, and I'll say, you know, I'm excited about the fact that the submissions that we have received for speakers, they're not all HR professionals. You know, they might be people that run operations. They might be, I don't know, physicians. They might be retirees.
Retired CFOs.
Right.
And,
So it's a variety of people, and they have something that's thought-provoking that that's been on their mind, and they want to have an audience to share that with. And I think if we keep it like that, that's what Disrupt HR is. We're disrupting the conversation a little bit.
Yeah. I love the workforce topic. It has been a place for people to make like a leadership outcry of like, if leaders would just lead this way, we would all respond differently. Right. And the one last night, Jamie Amos's topic on gratitude attitude, it was just like, we looked at employee satisfaction, but then we started investing in this thing called gratitude and letting people know how grateful we are for them, for their behavior, the things they do, the things they don't do, the way they approach topics. Like when you celebrate people and you express appreciation on a proactive basis, to be frank, a lot of people in the workplace have never even experienced that, right? It's not like everybody tries to do that because it's not the case. So that was another one I took back of like the calls to action to leaders to change the approach, to adjust the narrative a few clicks and execute what we've probably all read about or listened to, but we still don't do it enough, right? And it's a challenge to myself. I'm thinking right now, like, who am I going to call after this episode to ask how their week was, any barriers you need me to help you remove next week, and how excited I am for the 3 things you got accomplished this week that I'm aware of, and it may not have even happened right in plain sight of me, right? Just to say hello to a couple team members before the work week's over and let them know how grateful I am for them. Like that should be a challenge to all of us to think about what can we do with a colleague, associate, even a family member, to just let them know how thankful we are for them and what we saw. So I love those kinds of rally cry of like, that is interesting. The benefits, there's no doubt all of us. I had a friend of mine yesterday come up to me and she was like, you know, there were some great benefits topics. The problem is they're all Debbie Downers. Like, which, you know, it's a difficult conversation right now for every company and every self-employed human and every entrepreneur across North America is this topic on benefits. And I don't quite understand how we're not solutioning, or if we are, certainly I'm not privy to be in that room. But like, you know, there were 3 or 4 on benefits yesterday and they all hit a point. Yep, that's frustrating. Yep, that doesn't make any sense. We get it. But what do we do about it? You know, and maybe part of the message was we need to talk about it more.
It's human behavior.
The more we get it out there, the better.
It's trying to change human behavior.
Yeah.
You hire somebody, maybe they're 35 years old. You don't really know that, or you shouldn't before you hire them. But maybe they're married and that person is on 7 medications. You don't know. They might have a severe medical situation in the next couple of years. They might have a baby. They might start going through cancer treatment. You know, you don't know. And that's why it's important to offer health insurance to your employees. That's why people like to work. They obviously want the paycheck, but a lot of people need health insurance. So a lot of that's out of your control. You can't control what a family member has going on. And so if you can help change their behaviors a little bit with nutrition and sleep and mental health and, you know, all the other addictions that people are dealing with, you can't just flip a switch and say, all right, stop smoking, stop drinking, sleep more, don't eat fast food every day. That's just not going to happen. There's industries, and I've been in them, and people are eating very unhealthy every day. you have snack rooms and their break rooms, and it's full of snacks. It's not full of fruit and bananas and water. Like it's sugary foods that people want to eat. And you can't just tell them you can't do that. Like it's very difficult. So like you don't have control. And that's where when you look at health insurance and benefits, there's only so much you can control. And I think the message last night was, let's do what we can where we can control it and try to educate more, try to talk more about it. And, you know, if you have happy employees and they're engaged, maybe they can change a behavior and you can get them motivated to stop smoking or walk and exercise more. Some kind of fitness plan. That stuff might all take time to invest in, but at the end of the day, it might help the family. It might help the employees. It might help your bottom line with health insurance programs. So, but then you have events or chamber programs to offer better health insurance or better plans. So it's one of those things nobody wants to spend time on unless you're in it as a business, in the insurance business, and you want to help businesses get the best out of their situation. So there is only so much you have control over as a business when you're offering health insurance.
And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Nancy, in terms of the programming for HR 100, Talent Symposium, and all of the workforce strategies that you do, what are you most excited about this year outside of disruption?
Outside of disrupt HR, of course. You know, again, I'll stress that we're seeing record number of attendees.
It's great.
I love that interaction, that human interaction, especially with our HR groups. We have an event coming up March 11th, our Talent Strategy Symposium that, you know, again, we're going to have a record crowd. It's roundtable format, so a lot of engagement and hearing from everyone what they're dealing with, and then letting them share that, hey, I'm experiencing that too, and this and this. And I love the fact that we get people in the room open and honest, and then we can take that information as a Chamber of Commerce and say, look, sounds like we need to do a program on this, or sounds like we need to go to DC or Frankfurt because this is a big issue. Healthcare is a big challenge, right? And so being able to collectively gather the information from our members and be able to do something to impact in a positive way. I mean, that's what I'm most excited about.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely echo what Nancy said. I'm part of the symposium breakout session group. So my topic is all about building your personal brand and a brand statement for yourself based on your interests, your motivations, your personal values, and how you can apply that to your day job and
awesome.
Really help yourself, but also people around you. So I love that event. I've gone to it before, and it's great when you get that smaller group setting and you can collaborate more instead of just sitting there listening to somebody speak for a couple hours. So it is a great event, and just one of many that are out there for HR business professionals to attend.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. Get on the nkychamber.com website.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be a commercial, but it's a good one. It really is.
You've got two advocates here, so we'll advocate for it.
Okay.
So I'm going to wrap up with, what does unconventional leadership mean to you? So Nancy, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. I'm going to think about a scenario that just happened today, as a matter of fact, where I was in a meeting, a small committee meeting, and right in the middle of the meeting, somebody stopped and said, "No, really, how are you?" And to me, the "how are yous" don't happen often. And so to me, an unconventional leader is somebody that says, you know what? It's not just about business. It's about everyone. And taking that extra step and listening and leaning into your people, that's leadership to me.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
For me, it's how to lead with purpose and not position, title. How do you empower people more and really emphasize that in your day-to-day job? It's difficult for people sometimes, and they want to run a business, but they don't want to manage people. They just want everything to work efficiently, perfect every day, and it just doesn't happen. So find that courage over that comfort of being a leader and really leaning into that.
That's awesome. Thank you both. Thank you for your friendship, your partnership. We will make sure to provide in this note this year, 2026, Disrupt HR Northern Kentucky, July 8th. And then when the new year posts, because these episodes run for evergreen, we'll try to make sure we update the link in case somebody visits this episode and goes, oh, I didn't know that's the 27 date. So we look forward to being with you all on July 8th. For those who can attend, we encourage you, even if you're not you don't consider yourself in the people leadership culture space. My guess is you are, whether you like it or not, if you're leading or supervising anyone. So join us for the Disrupt HR NKY July 8th. And we look forward to connecting on the next episode. Feel free to send us comments, thoughts, additional perspectives in the episode full comment links or on LinkedIn where you see this. I also want to thank the Cincinnati Podcast Studio for all of their creative genius in bringing this episode to you. So I appreciate both of you being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's great.
And we look forward to the next conversation.